Hey guys, this is Matt Brunet, and welcome to Movie News Weekly, hosted by FilmBook. Now, before we begin, let's take a look at what we got in this week's news, which includes Transformers: The Weak Knight, Crayons Hate Sony, Warhol by Warhol, Daniel's retiring, Solo shot out his directors, what's next for that film, Uncle Drew's big movie, the new stars to walk on, the aristocratic movie, and Howard going solo. So with that said, let's get things started. Even with the money, it's starting to lose some gas. Transformers: The Last Knight, the latest installment in the blockbuster Michael Bay movie franchise, opened up in the top spot at the box office this weekend with about $45 million. Technically, it did open on Wednesday, and by adding the two previous days before the weekend, the fifth Transformers movie started this week with around $69 million. Even with that though, this would still mark it as the weakest opening ever for a Transformers film, placing it behind the first one, which had a $70.5 million opening. What's happening next to Optimus Prime is a head-to-head battle with the June champion Wonder Woman and the new Pixar film Cars 3 to see who would get second and third, since they both made more than $25 million each. Meanwhile, 47 Meters Down managed to jump up from last week by going from 5th to 4th by making around $7.5 million, placing it in front of All Eyes on Me and The Mummy, which both made less than $6 million each. Well, at least they're lucky it's just the crayons and not the artists altogether. Sony Pictures is going to create a live-action animation hybrid feature of The Day the Crayons Quit, based on the children's book by Drew Daywalt. The story is about a box of crayons who decided to go on strike against the kid who would use them because the crayons are tired of being only used for just their individual color. There has yet to be a director or a writer for the project, but it has been confirmed that Sean Levy and Dan Cohen of 21 Laps will be on board as producers, while Daywalt and illustrator Oliver Jeffers will be executive producers. The book has been known to be quite popular in recent years, as both the original and its sequel, The Day the Crayons Came Home, sold more than a total of 3 million copies. Well, it's nice of your subject to do most of the job for you. Goran Hugo Olsen will be directing a documentary called That Summer, which looks into the life of famous artist Andy Warhol using footage that Warhol shot himself in the 70s at his home in Mount Tauk, Long Island. The format is said to be similar to Olsen's previous work, as it will also have a film of Warhol done by artists like Peter Beard, Jason Mekas, Lee Radziwill, and Edith Bouvier. The documentary is one of the many films that recently got support from the Swedish Film Institute. Other movies with the support include Bergman Requiem, Silvana, Secrets from the Russian Tea Room, Solsaden, and Prison Sisters. The other documentary Olsen made, Black Power Mixtape, is about a series of footage showing Swedish journalists chronicling the stories of the Black Power movement that was going on in America. Well, you know what they say, you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself as a villain. Daniel Day-Lewis has announced that he will be retiring from his acting career. No official word has been said onto why he would no longer star in movies, but his spokeswoman, Leslie Darts, said Daniel Day-Lewis will no longer be working as an actor. He is immensely grateful to all his collaborators and audiences over the many years. This is a private decision, and neither he nor his representatives will make any further comment on the subject. Day-Lewis is known to so far be the only man in the world to receive 3 Oscars for Best Actor. These include playing as Christy Brown in My Left Foot, an oil tycoon man in There Will Be Blood, and one of the most popular American presidents in Steven Spielberg's Lincoln. He also got 2 additional nominations for In the Name of the Father and Gangs of New York. His final feature film will be an untitled drama talking about high fashion by Paul Thomas Anderson, and it'll be set to be released this Christmas. In other departure news, directors Phil Lord and Chris Miller are no longer going to helm the Star Wars spin-off film that will feature Han Solo. The reason for their departure is said to be that the people of Lucasfilm fired them for creative differences. As both guys stated, unfortunately our vision and process weren't aligned with our partners on the subject. We normally aren't fans of the phrase creative differences, but for once this cliche is true. We are really proud of the amazing and world-class work of our cast and crew. Kathleen Kennedy, the president of Lucasfilm, in return said, Phil Lord and Christopher Miller are talented filmmakers who have assembled an incredible cast and crew. But it became clear that we had different creative visions on this film, and we've decided to part ways. A new director will be announced soon. Lucasfilm also mentioned that the abandonment will not affect the release date, as it will still be scheduled for May 25th, 2018. So, now that Phil and Chris are out of the picture, what happens now? Well, the situation will now be given in the hands of the Directors Guild of America, and they will determine who will ultimately get the credit for the untitled Han Solo spin-off film. As Disney and Lucasfilm are now in a hurry to find a brand new director, rumors are popping up that candidates for that part will include Ron Howard and Joe Johnston. Yes, I know that you know who it's going to be, but I'll get to that later. Under DGA rules, Lawrence Kasdan can't be in the competition because he's already writing the screenplay with his son John. One big possibility that could happen is that Lord and Miller could remove their names from the directing credits and could be replaced by the infamous pseudonym Alan Smitty. The biggest complication in the scenario is that they got fired right in the middle of production, where the film only has several weeks left of filming and post-production has yet to start. So this is a basketball movie based on a commercial. You know, the most insane thing is that this is not the first time that it happened. Space Jam did it before. Lil Rel Howery and Shaquille O'Neal have joined the cast with Kyrie Irving for the basketball drama Uncle Drew. Set up by Temple Hill Entertainment, the movie will be based on Uncle Drew Pepsi commercials about an old man beating everyone at basketball while remembering the good old days of the game. The movie's story will be about a young player, portrayed by Howery, who's looking for Uncle Drew while some of the best old basketball players get together at the Rucker Court in Harlem. The movie will be written by Jay Longino of Skip Trace and directed by Charles Stone of Drumline. The last movie that featured Howery was in Get Out, where he played the TCA agent who is the best friend of the main character. Those stars get bigger every year. The Hollywood Chamber of Commerce has announced its new list of celebrities that will be receiving a star in the Hollywood Walk of Fame. This year's chair of the Walk of Fame Selection Committee, Vin DiBona, stated, "As a Walk of Fame member, I know these honorees will remember this dedication of their stars with great memories and will be proud that they are a part of Hollywood's history now and forever. We look forward to their big day as the Walk of Fame class of 2018 becomes cemented one by one on the most famous sidewalk in the world." In the motion picture category, the list includes Jack Black, Kirsten Dunst, Jeff Goldblum, F. Gary Gray, Mark Hamill, Jennifer Lawrence, Gina Lollobrigida, Nick Nolte, and Zoe Saldana. One interesting pick in the category, however, is also Minnie Mouse. The last time the Walk of Fame added an animated character to its roster was when they added Snoopy in 2015 to tie in with the Peanuts movie. Other people receiving a star this year include Simon Cowell, RuPaul Charles, Steve Irwin, Ice-T, Snoop Dogg, Lin-Manuel Miranda, and Weird Al Yankovic. Oh, quite splendid news, yes. I shall be delighted to enter the theater when it comes. After much talk from NBC Universal and the producers of the show Carnival Films for quite some time, the Downton Abbey movie has finally set up a date to start production on it. The president of NBC Universal International Studios, Michael Edelstein, mentioned about why it took a while to get things running with the feature based on the popular ITV and PBS series by stating, "We are working on getting the script right, and then we've got to figure out how to get the cast together. Because, as you know, people go on and do other things." When the cast heard about the official news when they were in Singapore in the special Downton Abbey exhibition, they were surprised to hear it and excited to prepare themselves to be a part of it. Production is set to begin the movie in 2018. It would seem fitting that I would end this off with the conclusion of the biggest movie news of the week. 2 days after Lucasfilm fired Phil Lord and Chris Miller, the company immediately hired Ron Howard as the new director of the untitled Han Solo spin-off movie. Kathleen Kennedy, the president of Lucasfilm, stated, "At Lucasfilm, we believe the highest goal of each film is to delight, carry forward the spirit of the saga that George Lucas began 40 years ago. With that in mind, we're thrilled to announce that Ron Howard will step in to direct the untitled Han Solo film. We have a wonderful script, an incredible cast and crew, and the absolute commitment to make a great movie." Howard's first mission for the movie will be to meet up with the cast to calm production down after the crazy scenario that occurred last week. Production will be resuming with Howard as the director on July 10th. And that's all I've got for this week. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to head on down to film-book.com for all the latest movie and TV news, along with their columns on the box office and their theatrical release schedule. Also, you can follow them on whatever social media you'd like. And while you're at it, you can follow me on my YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter if you're more into stuff like animation, Disney, and my weird sense of humor. If you are watching this on YouTube, then hit that like button and come subscribe to us, and also leave a little comment on what you think on the news this week. If you were listening to this on a podcast on iTunes or any other podcast service, then don't forget to rate and review what you just heard. Tune in next time for another round of Movie News Weekly, and until next week, see you later, dudes!